I mean, literally all this, and I had uprooted my family for this. For what? For what? Just like, it's not really just about like politics, because this is people. It's people. This is probably the most personal video I've ever made. So I lost my company and I lost my job as a government contractor due to the government shutdown. I relocated my entire family from Florida to Northern Virginia, where all the government jobs are at, based on promises that turned out to be lies. And what I mean by losing my company is because with my company, it was focused on veterans. It's herohiresolutions.com. And that's where I build resumes for veterans. I teach them how to job search. I show them how to do interviews, things that we aren't taught during our transition period to exit the military. And that's why there's a load of veterans who are either homeless, just struggling, can't afford to live, basically, eat. It's also a lot of veterans who are jobless because of the transition. So people who aren't veterans, they typically don't understand how the transition works. But it's not easy, especially when you're out. It takes a while, and sometimes you probably don't ever truly adjust. Slight changes, you'll feel like you have adjusted, but to really fully adjust is probably not possible realistically. So, before anybody asks, I want to say first that I have skills. While serving, I was HR and an Army recruiter also. And those two things should be transferable over to the civilian sector. It's not like, I chose a job where I'm just infantry, basically. And that's, no shot at infantry or anything like that, because, everybody's infantry at the end of the day. But I'm saying, chose something that's transferable easily into the civilian sector. Just like if you would have chose, or I would have chose something like legal, or something like that. But the reason we moved into this space, decided to go into the government space, basically because it's like moving to Northern Virginia, it's like that's where majority of the government jobs are at. And while I was in Florida, it was a struggle. I've had a job like here and there, but then after some time, it was like, I couldn't get nothing. It was, time kept passing by. Next thing you know, it's a year, and I'm like, it's not working here, because I feel like I've done everything right. I purchased a home. That's what people say do, buy a house. They say go to school. I got my master's while I was in the Army, and no student loan debt because I used my tuition assistance and FAFSA. And when I exited the Army, I still continued education. I'm pursuing my doctoral degree while using the GI Bill. So while you're in, guys, please don't use the GI Bill. Wait till you get out, because that way you can get that housing allowance when you get out. I have no criminal record. I have, like I said, the work experience. It's like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do only to get burned. It's like So fast forward, like I was saying, I moved out here and relocated my entire family. And before coming out here, I was told by the government contracting company that they've already been on the assignment for 10 years plus. So nice. They said so, and we've already got a guarantee that this will continue. We have it for another 5 years. 5 years. That wasn't the case. I have things in writing where they said this is the salary, these are your bonuses. I have a lot of things in writing that just turned out not to be true. And I found out a lot of these things were not true because upon my arrival, there was one person here, one worker. And before getting here, that contracting firm told me that they did a reorg. So they basically got rid of all the previous contractors because they were not performing to the standard that the government needed. Because as a contractor, you're here to assist the government. But that one person said, hey, I'm so glad you are here because it's been rough. I've been doing the job of a full team by myself. And so I was like, wow, were the other contractors really that bad? And this person said, what are you talking about? They quit. And so I'm like, what? I was told that they were let go. Everybody was let go because of underperformance. She said, no. Everybody quit because how bad things are. And I would have quit also, but I have way too many bills that do not allow me to quit. So this person also told me, and keep in mind, this started in July, that this is the not second, but third iterations of contractors in 1 year. So it's not that the government was dissatisfied with just the contractors, it was the contracting firm. So this person was just so relieved at my arrival coming from Florida. Then there were other people that started to roll in, and we all came from Florida, which was quite interesting. But we slowly start to open up about certain things, that they say don't talk about at work, like salary and all type of things. And we noticed how much we were getting screwed and how much we were lied to. So this company, by the way, they didn't pay any relocation costs. All of us that came to Northern Virginia from Florida, which was the majority, and I mean full majority, we paid out of pocket to move here. And to make matters worse, there were people who literally had nothing. They spent their last. I mean, one of the workers had kids, more than one kids, and a single parent, and couldn't even afford daycare, and was talking about how, they were eating hot dogs every day, chopping up hot dogs to feed their kids. And so they were dissatisfied. The government was dissatisfied with this contracting company. And their performance period date was September 30th, which so happened to also be the date of, hey, government's probably gonna shut down. And so the government shut down, and they were already dissatisfied with this contracting company. Connect the dots. It's like, it's just so bad because, I mean, everything I had in writing, you know, the salary, you know, the bonuses, hey, this is, you know, going to continue for another 5 years, you know, we're very reputable. We've already had this with them for over 10 years. I mean, literally all this, and I had uprooted my family for this. For what? For what? It's like, who can you really trust nowadays? Thinking back on things, it's like back in January of this year, I remember there was a resignation sent out. That resignation later sent out, it was more of a forced resignation sent out. And the time for that was resign by September 30th, the same day. The same day of this performance period for this contract I was on, the same day for the shutdown. I mean, all those days match. I mean, and something just to address and throw it out there, because I know there's going to be somebody, right? People always put in, like, who did you vote for? Or did you even vote? And, like, I challenge you to really look into what the electoral college is and look into branches also. So just clear that out the way. Anyways, I mean, I felt like the shutdown kind of just, it gave it like more fuel, you know, for them to cut that contract because they were not satisfied with that contracting company. And personally, when I got here, I wasn't satisfied with them, nor were any of the other workers in the office. And then you had the government side who weren't satisfied with them neither. And I'm talking about from small on up, because there were people who were on that side who transitioned over that worked on that contract for that contracting company, and they just talk so much trash about them. And it's so bad that there were other departments that talked bad about this same contracting company. So I don't know how that company sleeps at night. And then, I mean, to add to it, as someone that came literally 2 weeks prior to this shutdown, going off the premise is, yes, this is continue. We got this deal. It's another 5-year deal, only to now being 2 weeks, and you don't just get paid for those 2 weeks. It's work in the whole. So, I mean, to get there and now you doing 2 weeks and you're out of job that fast after you paid money to relocate, get housing, of course, because you got to think about that too. You got to pay, this the apartment, a house, wherever you are. You got to pay that bill now that you relocated, and now you don't have nothing. This is where we are in America, and if it hasn't hit your doorstep yet, you probably don't understand it, and that's okay. But just be quiet and listen if you don't understand it, instead of saying rude remarks like a lot of you guys do when you don't understand things. This isn't just like, it's not really just about like politics, because this is people. It's people. So for all the hundreds of thousands of other people that are, experienced the rifts, been through these shutdowns, currently going through the shutdowns, and the people that do have a heart and understand, what's going on. You can see it. You can see the pain that we experience. I want to say thank you for listening.